Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining this info session for Psychologists of Color's new mentorship program through Mentor City. I'm excited. This is fun. We've got a lot of people signed up, and I really appreciate those of you who are here live. And if you are watching from the recording, that's great too. For a brief overview of what we're going to be covering today, I will start with a brief overview of Psychologists of Color, Inc., in case you're not super familiar with our nonprofit organization. Then I'll move into introductions of both myself and of Brian, and I guess also Kevin today. I'll also talk about POC's mentorship program's mission. We'll hit on the Mentor City program highlights. And then I will pass the mic over to Brian for a demo of our fabulous Mentor City platform, and then we will wrap up with a Q&A. Okay. Psychologists of Color, Inc. is a 501c3 nonprofit organization. We are based in California, but with national outreach, so individuals from all over the US are able to participate in our programs, all of which take place virtually. And it is our mission to increase the racial and ethnic diversity of the psychologist workforce by supporting future and current psychologists of color. Hi, I'm Dr. Jordan Trockman. I am the founder and current board president of Psychologists of Color, Inc. I also am a licensed clinical psychologist based in California. I run a group practice called California Women's Therapy, see some of my own clients, and also oversee the organization there. I also have a small tutoring business for the EPPP, the psychologist licensing exam. That's called EPPP Tutoring. And I'm a mom and a wife. I have a 6-year-old daughter and an almost 2-year-old daughter. So I've got my hands full. But this POC is definitely a passion project of mine, and excited to see all of the growth happening within the organization. Okay, Brian Anderson is with us today from Mentor City, where he's been for 3 years, acting as a customer success manager, and he helps clients build and grow their mentoring platforms, as well as providing training for members and administrators. So Brian is pivotal to this. In the early stages of Psychologists of Color, Inc., we tried to launch a mentorship program on our own without the software to help us, and it was incredibly challenging. We feel very lucky to have found Mentor City. I love their platform and what they offer, so Brian's here to help us learn how to navigate it and fully utilize their program. Okay. And why mentorship? The mission of the mentorship program is really to help cultivate more psychologists of color. With only 16% of psychologists in the US identifying as BIPOC, we recognize the importance of a mentor-mentee relationship. Mentorship is crucial for psychologists of color for a variety of reasons. Mentorship allows for the development of a strong foundation for personal and professional growth in the mental health field, which will lead to an increase in the number of psychologists of color in the field. Mentors serve as role models, inspiring individuals to further their careers and achieve their individual goals. These mentorship relationships allow for unique perspective and insight into the challenges and experiences faced by BIPOC individuals in the mental health field. Mentorship can provide guidance and support while navigating systemic racism and discrimination within the profession. And these relationships can provide valuable cultural proficiency training and guidance on how to approach clients from various cultural backgrounds with sensitivity and understanding. And why Mentor City? For a lot of reasons. I'm kind of obsessed with their software. One of the key highlights is matching. The Mentor City program has a matching system that connects mentees and mentors based on shared interests, goals, and backgrounds after answering profile questions. And Brian will be walking you through how to create your profile. And this helps to ensure that mentees are matched with mentors who have the relevant expertise and can offer meaningful guidance and support. There's also communication tools. These include messaging, video conferencing, discussion boards, and these tools make it easy for mentors and mentees to connect, to share information and feedback and advice. A bunch of different tools to choose from, and Brian will also be sharing about those. The Mentor City program also includes goal setting, which I love as a psychologist. I love SMART goals. And there is a goal setting feature built right into the Mentor City platform that allows to set goals and track your progress towards achieving them. This helps to ensure that mentoring relationships are focused and productive, and that both parties are clear about what they hope to accomplish through the mentorship relationship. There's also a resource library where we can have tools and resources for supporting the mentoring relationships. Mentor City already has some of those loaded in, and then POC will also be creating specific to our own mentorship program resources and adding them there as well. And there's also reporting and analytics. We're able to go in and measure success, identify areas for improvement, make sure relationships are effective and that both parties are achieving their goals. That means we're also able to share this data with potential donors and grant opportunities. So as a nonprofit organization, having reporting and analytics built right in is hugely helpful for us as well. So obviously I'm a fan. I'm a fan of all this, so very happy to have Brian Anderson on today. He's going to be conducting the actual platform demo. He's going to be showing you profile completion, how to set your availability, calendar sync, searching and inviting, ways to conduct your mentorship relationship, including booking meetings, communicating, completing a mentoring agreement, how to access discussions and events and resources, and even telling us about the Mentor City app, because there's also an app. It's got everything. I'm a fan. Okay. Ooh, so I'll hold this for later. I'm going to stop my screen share so that Brian can start his and actually show us around the POC Mentor City mentorship platform.
Thank you for having me today. Thank you, Dr. Trockman, for the introduction. So yeah, I'm just going to go through a live demo of using the platform and kind of showing you all the nooks and crannies of it and everything that Dr. Trockman kind of pointed out. So when you first get access to the platform, you are going to, it's going to take you right into your profile. So this is what the profile looks like. Please fill this out with as much detail as you can. Specifically the specialized skills and development areas. Put as much information as you can in there. The more information is in your profile, the better the match is going to be. The more information that your mentor has about you or your mentee has about you, it helps to have as much in your profile as possible. So please, the specialized skills are for mentors, and the development areas are for the mentees. And you could choose to be both a mentor and a mentee if you wish as well. Okay, then next is the employment section. So you can put in kind of where you're practicing right now, or your current place of employment. You can even have your entire employment history on here if you want. We do have the ability to add another position, and we do have this I currently work here switch, which kind of closes off the end date or gives you the option to have an end date. And the competency section. So the third page of the profile, I would say, is just as important as the specialized skills development areas. Be as honest with yourself with this as possible. Your mentors or your mentees or even your administrators aren't really going to see what you've put in here. They're not going to see at all what you've answered for these questions. So be as honest with yourself as possible. Again, this will provide the best type of matching, and it will if you're not good with networking, the system is going to want to match you up with someone who is good at networking, for example. Okay, so take your time, go through all of these. Um, Again, I can't stress enough, be as honest with yourself with this as you can. Okay, you're going to be doing a disservice to yourself if you just kind of, answer what you think the system wants you to answer. So once you have that done, you can click on save and find mentor and find mentee. And where the system is going to take you now is the dashboard. There's a couple of things you could do before you start searching for a match, or if you're a mentor, before you start accepting invites. There's a couple of things that you need to do first of all. The main thing is the set availability. Okay. So right now I can click on edit and I can set the times and dates that I'm usually available for. Think of it like Calendary or something like that. One of those apps where you can tell the system, I'm not available Saturdays, I'm not available Sundays, but from 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, I am available. So that's what I have here, a typical 9 to 5 until Wednesday, and then opened up for Thursday and Friday. Okay. Also, make sure your time zone set properly here as well. If both parties have the time zone set properly, then you're never going to have to worry about, oh, is my mentor in the same time zone or anything like that, because the system will take care of all of that for you. Whenever there's a date, it will automatically adjust to whatever time zone you're in. And then we also have sync calendar functionality. So remember how I said you could set like 9 to 5, I'm available, but now let's say I have a meeting at 12 o'clock one Monday. If I have my calendar synced, the system will not allow my mentor or my mentee to book a meeting with me for 12 o'clock on that one specific Monday because I have something in my calendar already. So we have the ability to sync Outlook.com and Google Calendars. I could even put my phone number here, and the system will send me a text message 1 hour before a meeting's scheduled to start, just as another reminder that you do have a meeting coming up. Okay. Another thing you could do as well is start setting yourself goals. So within Mentor City, we have two types of goals. We have a personal goal and a relationship goal. A relationship goal is attached to a relationship, when a personal goal, they're not attached to any relationships. Only you can see that goal, and it's a goal that you want to achieve yourself. This is really good for mentors. If they have their own set of goals that they want to accomplish, they can set themselves up with personal goals. And to do that, under the goals widget in the dashboard again, you can click on this add icon, and you can add a personal goal. I also have a relationship goal, the ability to put relationship goals here, which I'll explain more a little bit about them later. So I can say, give a presentation, and I want to give that presentation by the end of the month. And then a sub goal, I could say, I need to put together this presentation that I'm going to be giving at the end of the month. And I need to do that by Saturday, so I have time to review it, memorize it before the presentation. And I need to make this urgent because it's due very soon. And I can click on save. And now I see that goal here. And I can, under here, if let's say I want to complete that goal now, I can just click on this button here, and that goal is now completed. that one at the same time. And now the system shows that this goal is completed. You'll get a congratulatory email saying that you have completed that goal. And if it is a relationship goal, it works the same way, but also your mentor or your mentee gets an email stating that you've completed that goal as well. So it's just kind of a high five from everybody. So now we've gotten our personal goals set up. We've got the meeting availability set. I can now start looking for a mentor or a mentee. So I'm a mentor right now in the platform. I'm going to use it as a mentor. I'm going to click on mentees. And now I'll be able to see a list of all of the available mentees, and I'll be able to start using the search criteria to really hone into what I'm looking for. So for development areas, I could say EPPP prep, save and search. So now everybody with EPPE prep will be displayed, and I'll be able to see more information about them. So I can, let's look at Alexandria here. I can see her past her past employment. I can see her meeting formats. I can see the rest of her profile. And then from here, I can then type in an invite to her. And now what this is doing is it's going to send off an invite to say I want to connect with her. And so in this invitation, don't make this invitation about yourself. Make this invitation about them. What made you want to message them based on their profile? Think of it like online dating in a way. Don't make it about yourself, make it about them. Talk about them. And then you can click on send invitation. Now you wait. If I now the other person has to accept that invite. They'll get an email saying that I've invited them. They can see my profile and they can accept or decline me. If they decline me, they have the ability to send a personalized message about maybe why they declined. But if it's accepted, then it becomes a formal relationship. And if I click on connections, I will see their name up here as a mentor or a mentee. Okay. And now you can start off your relationship. And how you do that is by clicking on their name. And here is all the ways that I can start interacting with them. So the first thing I recommend doing is sending them just a brief message. You can click on here to take you to the message hub. And I can say something like, hi, Brian, looking forward to meeting you. Something like that. And click on send. Now, this works as a instant messenger program as well. So if my mentor is on the platform, they'll receive an audible ding that they've received the message. They'll be able to go into the message hub, respond to my message right away. Now, you're not going to get an email letting you know that you have a new message right away because there is a 5-minute delay. And the reason we do that is so that you can freely use this message back and forth. And then when you go to your email, you don't have 20 different emails from Mentor City saying you have a new message, you have a new message. So once I've reached out to my mentor, we've had kind of a back and forth, I can then start scheduling a meeting with them. And to do that, I go back to the relationship page, or I could do it through the dashboard as well. And I can click on new. I can select my mentor's name. This is the location, so it defaults to Mentor City's video platform. You don't have to use that. You can use something like Zoom. You could just remove this and put a Zoom link or something like that in here as well. You're free to do that. And then you can set the duration. So we have 15, 30 minutes, 45, 60 minutes, 75 minutes, and 90 minutes. And then we can also do some meeting frequency as well. So like reoccurring meetings. I could say every week on Thursdays at 9 o'clock, we can meet. Or I could just say none and it will just create a one-time meeting. So I could see when I could set a meeting. So you can see here that Saturdays and Sundays, I cannot book a meeting. If you'll remember in my availability, I set my availability so that Saturdays and Sundays, I'm completely unavailable. So the system is only going to show the availability that both parties have available. So I could set one for the 27th, or I could set one for Monday or the 31st, the Tuesday, but I can't set for the weekend. And if you look, I can't set anything after 5 o'clock because again, I've stated in my availability that after 5 o'clock, I'm not available. So I can do 4 o'clock on the 27th, then click on send request. Okay. And now, just like any other meeting invitation, an email goes out to my mentor. They can accept or decline that meeting invite. So now let's say it is time for the meeting, and we're getting ready to log on. I can click on View under Schedule Meetings, and I can click on this link here, or I could click on right here, click on Join, and this is how we can have a face-to-face meeting right through Mentor City. I can change my background. I can give a virtual background or blur my background even. And we even have the chat function here. Now the chat function, it works the same way, or it's the same chat from outside of a call. So it's not like Zoom or anything like that, where once that call is ended, that meeting or that chat transcript is gone. You're always going to have historical data. So if I send a resume or a portfolio or something like that to my mentor during a call, I'll be able to retrieve that after the call as well. We can even share screens as well. So I can click here and share my screen. And when I hang up, it'll take me right back to the message hub, where I can then follow up with action items or minutes from the meeting, or just notes that I want to share about the meeting with my mentor or mentee. Okay, so some things you can do within the relationship as well is notes. So we do have a note section. We do have, these aren't shared between the mentor and the mentee. These are strictly notes to keep yourself. These are good for if you think of something to talk to your mentor about in between meetings, you can jot it down here and everything's kept in one area instead of having to have multiple things open during a meeting. Goals here is it. The goals functionality here works the exact same as the dashboard. I can click on it. I can view all of the goals. If I'm a mentor, I'll be able to see all of my mentees' goals as well, their due dates, any notes associated with them, and I'll be able to help them achieve those goals as well. The mentoring agreement. So the mentoring agreement is, I usually like to say, this should be filled out during the first meeting between the mentor and the mentee. There's some good questions in here about kind of the availability, the flexibility, how each person's going to kind of conduct themselves within the relationship, any confidential information, if that's ever going to be brought up, and how is that going to be handled. And it's not a formal contract. It's more of just a spoken agreement between the two parties that's kind of written down. So let's say I have a meeting with my mentor. I pull this up, and both of us can start talking about the answers then, and I can start writing out what these answers are, and then I can click on Save Changes. So once I have that all filled out, then my mentor will be able to log in on their side, pull up the mentoring agreement, and see all of my responses that I have filled out. Okay, so only one person has to fill this out, and it applies for both parties. Now, you can also change that agreement if something comes up halfway through the relationship, partway through the relationship. Okay. We have the resources down here. So this just really takes you to a shortcut to the resources here. And this is what Dr. Trockman was saying about some of our resources, but then the team's going to be adding their own resources as well. You can find all those resources here. So we have resources specifically for mentors and mentees. These are really good just to kind of, if you get stuck in the relationship, it just kind of gives you a push in the right direction to kind of say, hey, maybe you want to talk about this, or maybe you want to talk about that. And then we have these mentoring conversations, which are they're true life stories about how mentoring has affected people, what it means to be a good mentor, what it means to be a good mentee. And they're good just to kind of a lot of them are videos. But they're good just to kind of have in the background, listening to while you do something else. Then we have the event section. So the event section, there's nothing on there right now, but every so often you might get an email about an event that was posted. You can view more information about that event here and register for that event right here as well. And then we have discussions as well. So a discussion is open to more of the community, and they're just a place to kind of share, information about that specific topic. For this one, it's presentation skills. So I can go in there and I could share some of my experience about presentation skills, what I usually do for, in preparation for a presentation, how to get over that, butterfly in the stomach feeling leading up to, the start of that presentation. And then people can then comment on it, give their own advice, and it could be like a free flowing conversation that way. Then we have the Mentor City app. So we have an app for Android and an app for the iPhones. You can download them right here, or you could just even go into both app stores, look for Mentor City, and you'll be able to find it. It's going to be the first one that pops up. Um, you can do anything from the app that you can do on the website. So you can even just use exclusively the app if you want it, and you're not going to be missing out on anything. But it is good just to have that installed. Every time you receive an email, you'll also receive a push notification. So if you get an invite for a meeting, you'll get a push notification for that on your phone. All conversations, you'll get a push notification for that. So it's really helpful, just kind of on the go mentoring as well. And the last thing I want to kind of showcase is down here, we have this little need assistance button. It says comments and it says feedback, but this is more for help. If you're running into issues with the platform, you could type something in here, click on send feedback. A copy of that goes to the team, and a copy of that goes to Mentor City as well. So we'll be able to help you via email with any issues that you might be running into. So that's kind of your direct line right to Mentor City. And that's really it. That's all the highlights. Play around with it. Feel free to, reach out with any other questions or anything like that. Yeah, that's really it. I'll pass it back to you now, Dr. Trockman.
Thank you. I'm getting my screen shared again. Okay, hopefully everyone is now seeing the next slide. Thank you, Brian, so much. I love having you go through. You have like such a organized way in which you walk everyone through it, which is so helpful. When I started my first mentoring relationship through the platform, we hadn't had the info session yet, so I was kind of like fumbling around a little bit trying to figure it out. And then after the last info session, we came back and were able to do the mentorship agreement and set the goals and like understood what we were doing through the platform. So it was very helpful
Great.
learning, and I'm glad that we're recording this. Um, So for those of you who are on live or watching, if you're interested in becoming, it says a mentor, because this is from the last presentation I'm realizing, but if you're interested in becoming a mentor or a mentee, and you certainly can be both, um, think about where you are in your career development. There's always going to be someone who's further along, and there's always going to be someone who is not quite as far on their journey. So consider potentially serving in both positions. If you're interested, you can sign up on our website, psychologistofcolor.com/mentorship. And I hope I'm going to do this right. And now you're seeing our website. Okay, I'm seeing a nod. Perfect. This is the mentorship page of our website. You'll be able to get here from our homepage by clicking on the mentorship button. You could also get here from get support, then mentorship, or from support our mission, become a mentor. It's all going to take you to the same mentorship program page. This is going to highlight, again, our mission for the program and the benefits of the program. But most importantly, for those of you on now, you're going to have this button down here. Click sign up by clicking here. And that is going to take you to the Brian, what do we call this page? The
Registration page.
registration page. There we go. So it's pretty simple to get started. First name, last name, email, password, confirm the password, and click that register button. And that's going to help get you to the dashboard where Brian was showing you around. And then we also have at the bottom here that same resource that Brian showed you in the resource section, because if you haven't done it yet, you wouldn't be able to access it yet. So we have the PDF with an overview of the program and also walking you through those sign up steps in terms of creating the profile and registering. We don't have as much detail as Brian gave live, but if you are more of a liking to follow written instruction versus following audio instructions, this could work for you as well in terms of knowing how to complete your profile and start the matching process. So that's that. And then I can, there we go. Ooh, okay. Next slide here. Now we're ready for the question and answer section of our info session. So I'm gonna take a look at the chat, or perhaps Jasmine, you can, there we go, it showed up again. If there are any questions, you can either write them in the chat or with Jasmine's help, because I don't think I'm seeing all of the screens at the same time. If you wanna raise your hand or turn off your audio, you're also able to ask a verbal question. That would be fine. That would be fine as well. And while people are typing or thinking about their questions, I realized I had one as you were presenting, Brian. For the discussion threads, is anyone able to start a discussion thread, or is that something only the admin can do?
Only the admins can.
Okay, so if someone has an idea for a discussion thread, they would want to reach out to Jasmine at, or even I think if you put it in the support box too, right? They could say, I have a suggestion for a discussion thread. It's this, and then it's going to go to you and or to Jasmine. You all have some way of figuring out where those need to go. Right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely. Great. Looks like we have a question. What is the criteria for mentees? Is that person asking, like, who's allowed to be a mentee? Is that the question? By what is the criteria? So I think those who are allowed. So this is intended for current or future psychologists of color. That means if you are in graduate school or pre-licensed or licensed psychologist, or you're an undergrad student, or potentially even a high school student, and you are wanting to pursue a career in psychology, or you're exploring the possibility of that, or you're in a social work program and you think you might get your doctorate, right? Anyone who thinks that they may become a psychologist in the future, or is considering that, or on that path, or is currently a psychologist. I'm going to leave the question of whether or not you are a psychologist of color to your own personal decisions. We're certainly not going to tell someone what counts in terms of racial, ethnic background or history. But if you're identifying as a psychologist of color or a future psychologist of color, that feels right to me. Um, for our mentors, again, we're primarily assuming these are going to be psychologists in the field, but we're not concerned about racial ethnic background of a mentor, right? So if you are Caucasian, but you are interested in being a mentor for an up and coming psychologist of color, fabulous. And I'm thrilled that the Mentor City software has the ability to help us like sift through all of these preferences of what people are looking for. Someone may specifically be looking for someone of the same racial ethnic background to help them navigate X, Y, and Z. And that's fabulous. Someone else might just say, I need help with stats in my doctoral program. Who can help me, right? It might not matter so much about the background of the individual, but the software and profile matching system allows you to put in as much data as you can about you and your skills and the support that you're seeking, and then you're able to decide who you want to reach out to. So there's freedom that our old spreadsheet system could not figure out on our own. So thank you to whoever created the software. I'm grateful. Um, Hopefully I've answered that. Jasmine, would there be anything else that you would add, or is that how you would have fielded that question as well? That was great. Cool. Any other questions about our mentorship program? As we're waiting for questions, Jasmine, how many people do we have on live right now? 14. Okay. Great. So, okay, question for Brian now. what
Great.
I what I assume is going to happen at some point, someone is going to sign up and they were going to want to be a mentee and have a mentor, and they're going to go through and they're going to look, and at that exact point in time, there might not be that exact person that they're looking for as a mentor. And
Yep.
I know that our intent is to continue to expand the outreach, to keep marketing, to keep pushing it, to keep getting more people signed up for both mentors and mentees. But someone's going to encounter the experience of signing up, looking for something specific, and not seeing it at that point in time. What would be your recommendation there?
Um, yeah, so keep trying. Really just keep trying. Every 2 weeks, I think it's every other Tuesday, an email will go out to you if you're a mentee and you don't have a match. And it will suggest some matches to you based on your profile. So if you have the same specialized or the same development areas as their specialized skills, it will just show you, two or three different mentors and say, hey, how about you check these guys out? And then it will allow you to go in, look at their profiles, before you send out an invite. An invite still needs to be sent out, but it will just keep, every 2 weeks, it'll just send you a couple more saying, hey, how about these people? How about these ones? Until you find that perfect match. Also, there's no limit to how many times you can go into and search for somebody. You could go and do it once a day if you want. But keep going into the platform, keep interacting with things. Go into a discussion. And the system is really good at matching based on skill, but no amount of computing power can match you on your personalities. So, just because you don't have that perfect person, the next person might actually be the better match for you in the end anyway. So just keep that in mind when you're doing your searches as well.
Fabulous. I did not know that, and that is really helpful. I was wondering if you were going to need to remind people, but again, Intercity does that for us. Fabulous. I see a question came in asking about a timeline for signing up, completing the profile, or initial meeting of the mentor. There are no strict timelines. You can sign up anytime. You can complete your profile anytime. And you can have an initial meeting with a mentor whenever it works for you and the mentor. This is not something that's time limited. It is intended to exist, I want to say, in perpetuity. I would like to see this be a service that's available, you know, I don't see it. I don't see an endpoint happening. I'm wanting people to have the support that they need for as long as they need it. And we're pretty, as you can tell, I'm pretty jazzed about this program, so it'll keep going. And then, what is the ideal frequency of meeting with the mentor? That is really up to you and the mentor, and that's going to be something you can discuss during that with a mentor agreement phase of your initial meeting. I know with my mentee right now, we agreed on every other week. That's what felt good for us right now. And then we're going to, you know, circle back and see if that still feels right in 3 months. But for others, it might be less frequent. For others, it might be more frequent. Again, we're not imposing any strict requirements on what works for the two people who are involved in that relationship. It's really something you're agreeing on collaboratively. A great question. Any other questions? I think the lack of questions means we did a really good job explaining things. So, Ryan, thank you. And Jasmine, thank you for your help putting the presentation together as well. Um, Great. Okay, so I know that once the recording has been, the little front thumbnail is added and the back thumbnail is added, cropped and all ready to go, we'll be sending the recording out to our listserv, and I'm sure sharing a link on social media and using bits and pieces of the recording for our marketing of the mentorship program. So you'll all certainly be hearing from us, but you don't have to wait. You also can go in if you feel inspired right now and you want to go in and create your profile right now. It's live. You can go in and do that as early as today or as late as whenever you get around to it. Completely up to you. But we'll be continuing to do our part to share information from this info session and let people know that it's out there, and growing the mentorship program. So that's what we'll be doing. And if you happen to know of any associations or listservs or groups that we could connect with and let people know about this resource and get more mentors and mentees, please share with us. We would be grateful for your assistance and support in growing our mentorship program.
Great.
All right. All right. Thank you, everyone, so much for being here. And we'll be in touch. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.